Hello, the Verge made a video about how to build a PC, and it's not a really good video. I've been following the Verge for really quite a long time, like over 3 years. Got really good quality videos about technology in general, but this one is really bad. They even disable the dislikes and likes. You cannot see the numbers anymore. This is a big channel, 2.1 million subscribers, and they have a website. A very well-known I would say website about technology, tech in general. This video is really bad. I'm gonna break it down just little by little, just a few things. They say we need to build a PC for gaming around $2,000. You can make a really good PC, very similar specs. Well, for the most part, because he doesn't mention about all the specs in his PC build. And he says 2,000. Now I'm curious, why is it over 2,000?
You can build a gaming desktop for around $1,000, but I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000. PC like this is going to be able to play most games at all tier settings. So what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table. Preferably not metal. If it's going to be metal, have an anti-static working surface layered on top of it, a thermal paste applicator, an Allen wrench, some tweezers to tighten up.
Let's stop here. Why do you need an Allen wrench? You don't need this, and you don't need this. Well, maybe you need to spread the thermal paste in case your all-in-one cooler doesn't have a thermal paste. But just wait and see the video.
The wires, a Swiss Army knife, which hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
And that's the biggest mistake here. One of the biggest mistakes, actually. There's a lot of big mistakes in this video. You're gonna build a PC, get a screwdriver. Don't get a Swiss Army knife and hope you got the screwdriver for your screws, with a Swiss Army knife. That's bad.
And last but not least, an anti-static bracelet, which is to protect you.
This anti-static bracelet is not an anti-static bracelet. Anti-static bracelets are bracelets that connect to the case to ground it. This is just a rubber band. That's mistake number 3, I guess. Oh, there's plenty more. Just wait.
And the parts. These are the parts you're going to need, but more importantly, before we get there, we need to understand what these parts are doing and how they interact with one another. To better understand the parts that make up a desktop, let's try to understand them individually. The processor is like the computer's brain.
Don't bother with this part. Of course, you need a motherboard, you need a RAM, you need, something to store your information on. This is all general information by now. If you're going to build a PC, probably going to know about this. Well, the good thing they refer to PC part picker. I'm skipping here because I don't want to waste your time with this. And he said we need to go all out and spend $2,000, right? Let me show you something here. I went to PC part picker. The whole system, even with the Windows operating system, which is something he won't even mention in his video. These are the parts. They will cost you in about $1,393. I didn't use the 8700K. He doesn't even mention an 8700K. He's just going to say CPU. And we used probably the same all-in-one cooler, but we used Ryzen build, which is a really good processor with nice speed, and even with the RAM we got a 3000 DDR4 because on SMP profile will benefit from high-speed RAMs with Ryzen builds, but with Intel's different story. From gaming doesn't make a difference, and with Ryzen maybe 3 to 4 FPS, maybe higher. I'm not sure, to be honest, but you will benefit from high-speed RAM with Ryzen CPUs. Intel, not much. So this is the parts. Costs around 1,493 and 91 cents. Let's say 1,400. Let's see this. It's 1,400. Okay. And now, in his PC build, I don't know what case he's using. And here in the power supply, he's mounting it really in a bad way. Fan should be outside here. So you got intake air and exhausted. That's another mistake. Now he puts the motherboard and then he puts the RAM. Only have two DIMMs. And take a look how he put the DIMMs. He put them right next to each other. Something you need to refer to is the manual of your motherboard to see what channels you need to use actually to get dual channel from your RAMs. So that's another mistake. The third mistake, he puts the RAM, he puts the motherboard, and then he puts the GPU. I'm really fasting forward with this. And then he puts the cooler, everything. The last part he puts is the CPU right here. and listen to this. Just listen to this.
Is it really useful if you want to install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU? Yeah, we've got one, and it's an 8th generation chip, and it's ready to go, and it supports overclocking. So what having this little installer does for you is it's basically a brace that you can apply right to the CPU and light it up with the triangles that you'll see on the bottom left corners. And this will make it easier for us to apply it to the motherboard and then apply thermal paste and then apply a CPU cooler.
Okay, that's kind of funny. And you said hexa-core 8th generation, which is an 8700K. K because he said is can break the speed of the CPU basically. Well, first and foremost, this is not a hard CPU to get. You can get it everywhere. But the reason I'm going with a Ryzen build, as I said, you'll get similar performance, a lot cheaper price to save you some money. You don't want to sacrifice performance with price, but since you got similar performance with a lower price, then you go for it. Use 1080 GPU, but it doesn't mention this. This is something that has to be said or actually mentioned in here in the description. What parts you use, put a link to where do you actually bought one, how did you get to this number, $2,000. It's just doesn't explain it. You're gonna see something also kind of funny, and it's really bad at the same time.
On top. And we're just going to carefully lean it down into the system and make sure that everything lines up, and we're going to clasp down on it and we'll be good to go. So we're about to apply.
I don't know if you noticed this, but he said we need to use this plastic, and then this plastic you put the CPU on. You don't need this. Just first and foremost, get the motherboard out, put your CPU first. That's the first step you need to do. That's the first step. Then you put your RAM. Of course, you're going to need to refer to your motherboard manual, which slots to use. Then install your RAM. Then check your motherboard. Is it micro ATX, ATX, mini ATX? And of course, you need to put the standoffs of your motherboard into the case. Then put the motherboard, of course, after putting the I/O shield, the I/O shield of your motherboard into the case. So his steps is all over the place, and you're gonna see the end result in a few seconds. But listen to this about thermal paste. It's kind of really funny. All-in-one coolers comes with pre-applied thermal paste. It's just pre-applied. Just all you have to do is just put it on top of the CPU. Well, but listen to this.
Thermal paste to the CPU. Every CPU cooler actually comes with a bit of thermal paste already neatly applied in a circle around it, but it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra and layer it on top of the CPU. The final portion is to add the CPU cooler to the top end of the processor. So you're gonna see that there are 4 brackets, or rather like screws in here with brackets and holders right here. And they're going to keep the cooler raised off the processor, but it's also going to be close enough.
It's a good practice to add more thermal paste. This is really bad. Thermal paste used to ensure that you're transferring heat from your CPU to your cooler in a better way. Let me explain. Your CPU is made out of metal, your CPU case, and most of the time it's aluminum. But on a microscope level, there are some cracks. It's not really a smooth surface. So to solve this issue in about transferring heat from one object to the other, let's put a thermal paste, because the paste will go through those cracks of your smooth surface and will ensure your heat will transfer from the CPU to your all-in-one cooler, and your all-in-one cooler will use the liquid to transfer the heat to the radiator, to your fans, and therefore you're cooling your CPU. The one benefit to add more thermal paste, basically, it will add more cost to customer. I mean, thermal paste about around $3 or $5. It's not a big deal. It's already pre-applied. It's not a really good practice to put thermal paste on a thermal paste. That's a really bad statement right there.
To actually physically come in contact with it, like basically keep it cool. Take thumb screws like this and just screw them on. So now that our internals are done, we're going to put all the panels back on, which is the top glass, side glass, front glass, and of course the back panel where all of this fun stuff is happening. So we fully built the PC.
And here's the end result of this. He doesn't talk about cable management at all. In the beginning of the video he said bring tweezers, meaning zip ties. Right at the beginning of the video, with the Allen key. Why would you need this? To do cable management at the end. And what's your end result here? The end result is really bad. See this? I'm curious about the airflow, in this case, and in this PC build. This is a really bad video, Another thing is bad, no PC parts actually mentioned. Okay, let's say you're a beginner, you want to learn how to build a PC. There are a couple of channels I will recommend you to go to and learn it, because I learned it in the same manner. I was an amateur into PC building, but it's really easy, but this is not a good starting point. In my opinion, it's a very bad starting point, especially from a website like this that has a really good reputation about technology. So where are you gonna go? You go to, for example, Mr. Kerry Holzman. He's very detailed in terms of PC builds. His PC builds videos are over an hour, maybe. Go to playlist, and let's see, computer building videos.
You and your team need to get things done.
He got really short videos here. But you see an hour 50 minutes here. It's very, very detailed, 2 hour and a half. Very, very detailed videos in about how to build a PC. This is a much, much better instructional channel than the Verge, you know. Another channel, for example, is Bitwit. You got a playlist. You go to, let's see, PC builds. If I can find it, here you go, builds.
All right, we're at it again. This is part 2.
This is a better channel about how to build a PC. He has all types of budgets, you know, even $400. It's not something you're gonna go all out and you say $2,000 and that's it. If you notice in that video, this one, he doesn't have a hard drive. He only has this SSD, and he's playing League of Legends by the end of the video. So, but of course, if you're gonna go to Steam, you're gonna go install AAA games. You need storage. Therefore, that's why in my suggested build, I said get a 2 terabyte hard drive. That's a good starting point with the M.2, you know, SSD, and Windows 10 Pro as well, you know, and it's a lot less than 2,000 US dollars. This video is really bad. This is a very bad. I think this is the worst video of YouTube in 2018, in my opinion. It's not a good practice to spread really false information like this. It's ridiculous. It's funny at some point, but if you look at the picture as a whole, it's really bad misinformation about building a PC. This is not how you build a PC at all. This is not how you build a PC. This is everything wrong in building a PC. First and foremost, you need to know what you're looking for. You want to play on 1080p, you want to play on 144p, you want to play on 4K. This is the first thing you need to consider. Second thing to consider is your budget. It's not always, you know, even those parts which is 1,400, you might can cut on this. Probably gonna go with a less, without an SSD. Basically, you're gonna save around $90. You can remove the SSD. Well, it's the benefit is good boot in terms of your hard. If your hard drive failed, you still can operate the system on a Windows. Since the OS will be installed in here on the SSD, not the 2 terabytes. Therefore, you can save some money, but you're going to lose some benefits. For example, I put an 80 plus gold certified fully modular power supply. You can go semi-modular, not 80 plus gold, maybe less price. So it's up to you as a consumer, since there are a lot of parts around there that you can actually choose from. And if I even remove the Windows, you know, you decided to get Windows from somewhere else, you get it cheaper, you'll save much more money, you know. So this is not it. It's not going all out. You need the $2,000 to get a good gaming PC. This is a big mistake, you know. It's a really false statement. There's a lot of false statement in this video, you know. Even the way he installed the CPU is just funny, and he installed it right after he put almost all parts in a PC build, which is the first thing you need to do in PC build, is put a CPU, put a RAM, which is he didn't do. And he never used the Allen key, if you notice. The whole video, you can watch the whole video, but it's a mess. It's a mess video, you know. And then he's decided to play League of Legends by the end, you know. I'm getting over 200 FPS, so yeah, right. Yeah, this is something need to be, you know, talked about. There are much better channels out there, you know. And also, if you are in the Middle East, here you go. You know, this is a very much better channel called Electroninet. You know, for Arab-speaking people, you can see how you build a PC, you know, in a much better way, in detail. Here you see, this is the first step you need to do. Check the triangle where it is. That's it. Little bit of thermal paste, not maximum. Boom. Cooler installed. Done. Next thing, your DIMMs. Done. Then the IO shield. Done. And check your cables. You know, Verge, remove this video. Should be gone. This should be allowed on YouTube. You know, and just remake it. You know, get someone who's an expert in building a PC, or at least not even an expert. You know, somebody who actually built a PC before. You know, that's all I had to say about this video.